In this video, we'll be putting the Tiki armor set up against the Spooky armor set. To find which summoner armor set is ideal, we will assess the strengths and weaknesses of each armor set, and determine which one is better. The Tiki armor is a hard mode summoner armor set that is purchased from the Witch Doctor after Plantera is defeated. The set focuses on range and defense, making it a great set for those who like to play it safe. The Spooky armor is a hard mode summoner armor set that is crafted from spooky wood, which is obtained from killing enemies during a pumpkin moon, which is summoned with the pumpkin medallion. The set focuses on damage and mobility, allowing the player to charge in and tear through enemies. Proceeding with the video, whips will be used during all testing. The original plan was to have some tests with a whip, and then again without one. However, it turns out that the Tiki armor is practically useless without the use of any whips. Yeah, the gear feature here, I forgot to mention that the whip I am using is the Dark Harvest. I know it doesn't really matter, you can probably see that in the video, but Starting off, let's look at the dummy DPS tests. That first chunk was stiff as fuck, but well, fuck it. During the single target DPS test, the Tiki set noticeably underperformed, with an average DPS of just under 600 damage per second. The Spooky set, on the other hand, fared much better in contrast, with an average DPS of roughly 650 damage per second. The Spooky armor set is the clear winner here, which isn't too surprising given its extra 28% increase in minion damage. For those who don't know, minion damage also increases with damage. The multiple target DPS test will cover the max amount of targets each armor can hit. The Tiki set is able to hold its ground here as it's able to hit 2 extra targets due to its greater whip range, giving it an average DPS of roughly 4,000 damage per second. For the record, I do have some accessories equipped. If you want to see what accessories I have equipped, just look on screen now, it's all there. On the other hand, the Spooky set still deals plenty of damage despite its lack of range, with an average DPS of just over 4,000 damage per second. Once again, the Spooky armor set takes this one, while this one is quite a close comparison. Next thing on the agenda is to test each armor set in practice. We will do this by observing how each armor set does against each boss. First boss to look at is Queen Slime. With the Tiki set, Queen Slime was defeated within 30 seconds, and due to the distance that the 20% increase in whip range gave, no real damage was taken during combat. With the Spooky set, Queen Slime was defeated slightly faster, just under 30 seconds. However, due to the limited range of the whip, damage was taken more frequently. Overall, the difference here in damage dealt was minor, with only a 2-second difference. However, the Tiki armor set fared far better here, as less damage was taken while defeating Queen Slime, in roughly the same amount of time as the Spooky set. The next boss on the hit list is Golem. With the Tiki set, Golem fell after 92 seconds, and due to the lack of mobility, avoiding Golem's projectiles was difficult, leading to frequent damage being taken despite the greater whip range. With the Spooky set, Golem fell after 78 seconds, and despite having to get in close to deal damage, the 20% increase in movement speed allowed for easier avoidance of Golem's projectiles, resulting in less frequent damage taken. The results here are quite clear, as the mobility and damage of the Spooky armor set made quick work of Golem with less damage taken. For the final test, we will be taking down the Destroyer. With the Tiki set, the Destroyer was destroyed within 52 seconds. With the Spooky set, the Destroyer was destroyed within 40 seconds. Not much to note as far as damage taken, as minimal damage was taken with both sets. Once again, the Spooky set outshines the Tiki set with its greater damage. As far as the data collected is concerned, the Tiki armor doesn't stand a chance. Even with its greater defense, it didn't really matter since the difference in defense was quite minor anyways. However, the Tiki armor isn't useless. As the Queen Slime test showed, it does quite well against enemies who don't have many projectiles. So against certain bosses that struggle to deal damage from any significant distance, the Tiki armor set will fare quite well, as long as you are using a whip. The Spooky armor set allows for more variety with weapon choice, as the increased damage will still be enough considering the damage increase to the minions alone. Not to mention, the greater movement speed allows it to get out of jams more frequently. A skilled player can really put the increased mobility to use, to avoid damage when even having to get in close. The Tiki armor is easier to get if you have the cash, and it is an easier set to use and get the hang of, hence I could recommend it to players who aren't confident in their skill. But overall, in my opinion, I find the Spooky armor to be the superior of the two armor sets. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Subscribe to see more videos like this one, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.